Definition of curriculum development. What is a curriculum development? The best way to define curriculum development is to take each term and explain briefly the concept behind it. So let's start with the word curriculum. The term curriculum is derived from the Latin root currere, which means to run, as defined in the previous unit. In educational parlance, the course of the race came to stand for the course of study over time. Curriculum can now mean different things to different people depending on how it is used. Curriculum is more than just a list of subjects that student must take as a part of a course study. Curriculum in the word sense refers to the overall framework of the educational system, which includes everything from instruction to management and administration. It is a broad collection of the academic institutions, students, growth, and experience. In addition, it defines both learning and experiential activities and the means of delivering it to the learners. Curriculum is dynamic because it is constantly changing to meet the changing needs of society and people. It is also viewed traditionally and progressively, but both perspectives prioritize student, and curriculum is considered as the heart of learning institution, which means that schools or universities cannot exist without curriculum. So next is the development. Development is a specific word that cannot change. Change means any alternation or modification in the existing order of things. However, change may not necessarily result in development. It must have the following characteristic so that change will eventually lead to development. So first is purposeful. Change that is intentional or directional is referred to as purposeful change. There must be well-defined target or objectives. This type of change is something that one wills or causes to occur, rather than something that happened by chance. As a result, it includes control over or responsibility for effect caused by the change. Next is plan. It is necessary to plan for change. In this context, planning refers to two things. To begin, there is a series of careful, systematic, and sequential steps that lead to a goal. Second, these are carried out over a period of time. And lastly is progressive. Positive change brings about improvement. It takes a person or a group to higher level or perfection with the vision aiming for what is ideally relevant in the future. And now that we know the two terms, we can clearly define now what is a curriculum development. So curriculum development view in a classroom setting or in a teacher's perspective, curriculum development describes all the way in which a training or teaching organization plans and guides learning. This learning can take place in a group or with individual learners. It can take place inside or outside a classroom. It can take place in an institutional setting like school, college, or training center, or in a village or a field. It is central to the teaching and learning process. From this description, one can infer that curriculum development can take place in many settings and may involve many people. This means that it is cooperative venture among teacher, supervisor, curriculum expert, learner, parents, and other stakeholders. So generally, curriculum development is the process by which an instructor or institution creates or adapts that plan for a course. It also has a broad scope because it is not only about the school, the learners, and the teacher. It's also about the development of a society in general.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Domingo del Rosario from BTLAD 2A and I will going to discuss the Saylor and Alexander model. John Galen Saylor, 1902-1998. He is American educator, Fulbright Professorship for Finland 1962, and also his author. William Marvin Alexander, 1912-1996. He is American educator, father of the American Middle School, and also author. Galen Saylor and William Alexander, 1974, introduced a model consisting of 4 steps. According to them, curriculum is a plan for providing sets of learning opportunities to achieve broad educational goals and related specific object for an identifiable population served by single school center. So, Saylor and Alexander curriculum development model, we have goal, objective, and domains, curriculum designing, curriculum implementation, and also curriculum evaluation. For A, goals, objective, and domains. The model indicates the curriculum planners start by specifying the major educational goals and a specific object by which to accomplish. Every major goals represents a curriculum domain and they advocate for major goals or domains. So we have personal development, human relations, continued learning skills, and also specialization. So for B, curriculum designing. When the goals, objective, and domains have been established, planners move into the process of designing the curriculum. Here, decision is made on the appropriate learning opportunities, each domain, and how and when these opportunities will be provided. So for C, curriculum implementation. Once the design have been developed, the next step is implementation of the design by teacher. Based on the design of the curriculum plan, teacher would specify instructional objectives and then select relevant teaching method and strategies to achieve and design learning outcomes among students in the classroom. So last, for the evaluation. Lastly, curriculum planners and teacher engage in evaluation. It is proposed the evaluation should comprehensive use a variety of evaluation techniques. Evaluation should involve the total educational program of school and curriculum plans, the effectiveness of instructional and the achievement of students. Through the evaluation process curriculum, the planners and developers can determine whether or not the goals of the schools and the objective of instructional have been met. So, that's all. Thank you. Thank you for watching and God bless. Keep safe.
Good day everyone, I'm Maria Catherine L. Ramirez of Group 3 from BTLAD 2A. Today I'm going to discuss the Hilda Tabas model. First, let me introduce to you all who is Hilda Taba. Hilda Taba is a Estonian-born American educator who is considered one of the most significant contributors to the fields of intergroup education and curriculum design. She also studied with the philosopher John Dewey, whose thought was influential in her later work. Hilda Taba became a teacher of German in 1933 at the Dalton School in New York City. The Dalton School was at the time involved in the 8-year study, an investigation into alternative curricula, and new practices in areas such as student testing and teacher development. Hilda Taba's participation brought her together with the study research director, Ralph Tyler, who hired her as part of his research team at Ohio State University. In 1939, she became the director of the Curriculum Laboratory at the University of Chicago, which she headed until 1945. Hilda Taba subsequently initiated, designed, and directed several research programs aimed at intergroup education, an educational program that drew extensively on concepts from cognitive and social psychology to increase understanding and tolerance between pupils from different ethnic and cultural backgrounds. Now let's proceed to Hilda Taba's model. Hilda Taba's model follows an inductive approach. In this regard, curriculum worker starts with the specific and build up to a general design as opposed to the more traditional deductive approach, starting with the general design, working down to the specifics. According to Chandeshwari, Hilda Taba's model is used to enhance the thinking skills of students. She believed that teachers are aware of the students' need. Hence, they should create a specific teaching learning situation for their students. They should adopt an inductive approach to the teaching from specific to general rather than the traditional deductive approach. Hilda Taba promotes the down-top model or grassroots approach. Hilda Taba argued that curriculum development should follow a sequential and logical process, and she suggested for more information input in all phases of curriculum development. She also claimed that all curricula are composed of fundamental elements. The main idea of this model is that students are the forefront to the curriculum. She believed that there must be a process for evaluating student achievements of content after the content standards have been established and implemented. The main concept of this model is that teacher must be involved in the curriculum development. Here are the steps of Taba's model. The first step is diagnosis of learner's need. The teacher, who is also the curriculum designer, starts the process by identifying the needs of the student for whom curriculum is to be planned. For example, majority of students are unable to think critically. The second step is formulation of objectives. After the teacher has identified the needs of learner that require attention, he or she specifies the objectives by which need will be fulfilled. The third step is selection of content. The objectives selected or created suggest the subject matter or content of the curriculum. Not only objectives and content should match, but also the validity and significance of the chosen contents need to be determined. The fourth step is organization of content. A teacher cannot just select content but must organize it in a particular sequence taking into consideration the maturity of learners, their academic achievements, and their interest. The fifth step is selection of learning experiences. Content must be presented to a student and they must be engaged with the content. At this point, teachers should select appropriate instructional methodology that will involve the students with the content. The sixth step is organization of learning activities. The learning activities be organized in a sequence depending both on content sequence and learner characteristic. The teacher needs to keep in mind the student he or she will be teaching. And the last step is evaluation. The curriculum planner must determine that what objectives have been accomplished. To assess the achievements of learning objectives, evaluation procedures need to be designed. The next part is the application of Taba model. First is currently used as basis in most curriculum design. Second is it gives primary consideration in identifying the needs of a student. Third is used as guide in developing objectives. Fourth is considered in selecting instructional materials. Fifth is used as basis in organizing learning experiences. And last is evaluation. The following are the observed strengths of the model in developing the curriculum. First is, it gives the teacher a greater role by not just making them implementers of the curriculum, but also developers. Second is, it follows the inductive method. Third is, it also follows teacher's approach. Fourth is, notes that teachers are aware of the student's need, therefore, they are the one that should develop the curriculum. Fifth is, sees the curriculum as a plan for learning. And last is, it gives importance to objectives in order to establish a sense of purpose in deciding what to include, exclude, and emphasize in the curriculum. Moreover, Hilda Taba, as a curriculum expert, believed that to evolve a theory of curriculum development and a method of thinking about it, One's need to ask what demands and requirements of culture and society both are, both for the present and the future. Curriculum is a way of preparing young people to participate in our culture. And the last part is application of Tabas model in the classroom. The following are the strengths and weaknesses of Taba model when being applied to classroom preparation and teaching. The following are the strengths of using the Taba model in the classroom context. First is, gifted student begin thinking of a concept, then dive deeper into that concept. Second is, focuses on open-ended question rather than right and wrong questions. Third is, the open-endedness requires more abstract thinking, a benefit to our gifted student. Fourth is, the question and answer lend themselves to rich classroom discussion. And fifth is, easy to access student learning. However, there are also limitations in the use of the Taba model in the classroom settings. First is, it can be difficult for non-gifted student to grasp. Second is, it is difficult for heterogeneous classroom. And third is, it works well for fiction and non-fiction, may be difficult to easily use in all subjects. In Hilda Tabas model, curriculum defined as the process of selecting, organizing, executing, and evaluating learning experiences on the basis of the needs, abilities, and interests of the learners and the nature of the society or community. Hilda Taba created a multi-purpose teaching model that utilized the use of multiple processes, for example, listing, grouping, regrouping, labeling, and synthesizing.
Good day everyone, I'm Jenica Serenilla from BTLED 2A and today I will present the Peter Oliva model. Peter Oliva, formerly professor and chairperson at Southern Illinois University, Florida International University, and Georgia Southern University. He an author of numerous articles in educational journals, written several textbooks, and it's a co-author of Supervision of Teaching Schools now in its 8th editions. In 1976, Peter Oliva introduced his first model of curriculum development. His first model follows a linear and deductive approach. The Oliva model became more comprehensive and detailed after its revision in 1992, as opposed to his first model, which was a simple and linear in nature. Because the model combines a curriculum development scheme and an instructional design, it was later regarded as systematic and comprehensive. We have 12 components of the Oliva model. These 12 components are: Component 1, philosophical formulation, target mission, vision of institution. Component 2, analysis of the needs of the community where the school is located. Component 3 and 4, general purposes and special purpose curricula. Component 5, organizing the design and implementing curriculum. Component 6 and 7, describe the curriculum in the form of the formulation of general objectives and specific learning. Component 8, define the learning strategy. Component 9, preliminary study on possible strategies or assessment techniques to be used. Component 10, implement the learning strategy. And lastly, are Component 11 and 12, evaluation of learning and curriculum evaluating. Oliva recognized that the needs of the student in particular communities are not always the same as the general needs of the student throughout the society. In this case, the role of faculty comes in to always consider the nature needs and diversified characteristics of students when preparing a curriculum or even a plan for teaching. And now, we proceed to the Oliva model plan. In the Oliva model, a faculty can fashion a plan. First, for the curriculum of an area and design ways in which it will be carried out through instructional. Second, to develop a school-wide interdisciplinary programs that out across areas of specialization, such as career education, guidance, and class activities. Third, for the faculty to focus of the curricular components of the model to make programmatic decisions. And lastly, is to allow a faculty to commentate on the instructional components.
Good day everyone, my name is Adrian Bisimbulan from Bitlet 2A and I'm going to discuss the 17 basic steps of the Oliva model. Step 1. Specify the needs of the student in general. It is crucial that a teacher identify and meet the needs of every learner because it boosts their morale and encourages them. Step 2. Specify the needs of the society. It's not only about the school, the learners, and the teachers. It is also about the development of a society in general. Foods, water, health, employment are some examples of needs in society. Step 3. Write a statement of philosophy and aims of education. You generally need a teaching statement to apply for an academic position. A teaching statement conveys your teaching values, beliefs, and goals to a broader audience. Step 4. Specify the needs of students in school. School staff need to work together to identify the health and physical education learning needs that affect all or many of the students at their school. Step 5. Specify the needs of the particular community. By assessing your community's needs, you will gain a better understanding of the area you want to serve, whether it's an entire city or a small neighborhood. Step 6. Specify the needs of the subject matter. Effective teaching requires teachers to possess detailed subject matter, knowledge intertwined with knowledge of pedagogy, curriculum, student behavior, learning objectives, and outcomes. Step 7. Specify the curriculum goals of your school. Curricular goals are important for assessment because they indicate the development or program intention from which learning outcomes should be developed, and learning outcomes are at the heart of assessment of school learning. Step 8. Specify the curriculum objectives of your school. Objectives are a key component of the curriculum design process, as they help teachers determine learning outcomes, what they should teach, and what students should learn. Methods of instruction and objective ways to measure student progress and performance. Step 9. Organize and implement the curriculum. It helps to make the curriculum relevant to the needs of the learner and the society as a whole. Step 10. Specify instructional goals. Having objective in mind provides a way to align your action in service of those big picture targets. This is why lesson goals in the classroom are so important. Step 11. Specify instructional objectives. Well-defined and articulated learning objectives are important because they provide students with a clear purpose on which to focus their learning efforts. Inform your selection of instructional content and activities. Guide your testing and assessment strategies. Step 12. Specify instructional strategies. Instructional strategies are techniques teachers use to help students become independent, strategic learners. Instructional strategies can motivate students and help them focus attention, organize information for understanding and remembering, monitor and assessing learning. Step 13. Begin selection of evaluation technique. It is important is to make judgment about program to improve its effectiveness and or to inform programming decisions. Step 14. Implement instructional strategies. Educators who use instructional strategies allow students to make meaningful connection between concept learned in class and real-life situations. They offer an opportunity for students to demonstrate their knowledge and course correct on their own when needed. Step 15. Make final selection of evaluation techniques. Evaluation plays an enormous role in the teaching learning process. It helps teachers and learners to improve teaching and learning. Step 16. Evaluate instruction and modified instructional components. Instructional evaluation involves objectively examining your progress towards your learning objective for your student. Instructional components are those parts of the training materials that are not directly related to the content but facilitate their use for both resources, persons, and learners. Step 17. The curriculum and modified curriculum components. Curriculum evaluation refers the formal determination of the quality, effectiveness, or value of the program, process, and product of the curriculum. Curriculum modification involves change to range of educational components in a curriculum, such as content knowledge, the method instruction, and student learning outcomes.
Good day everyone, I am Grace Cecil A. Roca from Vitoled 2A. In this video, I will going to report the models of curriculum development. The first step in curriculum development is to create a model. The type of curriculum used is determined by a curriculum development. It includes educational philosophy, teaching methods, and methodology. For formulating policy, the challenge lies in discussion on the form, content, aims, and goals of curriculum, often referred to as curriculum component. These curriculum components have a great impact on roles of the stakeholders, parents, educators, students as they connect the vision and practice decision-making, curriculum planning, development, implementation, and evaluation. This is according to Joseph 2011, is cited by Reyes and Dizon 2015. So the first model is the Tyler model. The Tyler model was created by Ralph Tyler in 1949. He presented the model in his book Principle of Curriculum and Instruction, published in the same year. It is the first ever model of curriculum development. It was also considered revolutionary because no one presented such kind of model in terms of curriculum development. Some authors call this model as ends mean model. This is because according to Tyler, based on the presented 4 basic questions, a curriculum developer should start by deciding what purposes the curriculum is to have and then plan in accordance with the purpose. Additionally, Tyler suggested that several ends, which he called goals, educational objectives, and purposes, be identified by examining 5 elements: the learners, life in the community, subject matter, philosophy, and psychology. This is according to Reyes and Dizon 2015. Tyler reiterates that to develop a curriculum, one must be guided by the 4 basic questions. So first, what educational purposes should the school seek to attain? Second, what educational experiences are likely to attain these objectives? Third, how can these educational experiences be organized? And fourth, how can we determine whether these purposes are being attained? Moreover, Tyler also identified elements as sources of the curriculum. These are student, society, and subject matter. The student as a source, one of the principles of learning states that One of the richest resources for learning is the learner himself. These principles state that the first element in order for the learning to be successful is the learner himself. The success of the learning is dependent upon the interest of the learner as well as in his or her capability to learn. According to Corpus and Salandano 2015, each individual has an accumulation of experiences, ideas, feelings, and attitudes that constitute a rich vein of material for problem solving and learning. Learners are central to the teaching and learning processes. All of a teacher's preparation revolve around the ultimate benefit of the student. Furthermore, Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory revealed that student basic needs must be met because they are the key to working on the satisfaction of the individual's higher order needs as a person. In society as a source, authentic learning is valued and must be centered on children's natural interests. Learning does not take place solely within the four walls of the classroom or from the books that students read. Life lessons are more important and readily available in the natural setting, the environment within society, in which an individual interacts, reacts, and experiences the realities of life. The society is their big school, their actual training ground, the source of their genuine learning from the life lesson that they can apply in their future and present lives. Subject matter as a source. Tyler was seriously influenced by John Dewey, who emphasized learning by doing. He was also inspired by Jerome Bronner, who wrote about the structure of knowledge. They said, and Tyler agreed, that to master a subject, one must understand its underlying structure. This is according to Reyes and Dizon 2015. Philosophy as a source. Tyler stated that good curriculum development begins with good thinking, and good thinking begins with the formulation of a philosophy. He believed that defining a school's philosophy was essential. If Tyler were to advise others on curriculum development, he would insist that teachers state their personal philosophies as well as the philosophies of their school. In this respect, Tyler's model reflects the realization that to understand others, you must first understand yourself. To serve others, teacher must understand both the serving agency and himself or herself, having a sound personal and teaching philosophy anchored on the statement of school's philosophy. Only then that the teacher will have a strong premise to plan effectively and implement the curriculum in the classroom context effectively. Psychology as a source. Tyler believed that effective curriculum development requires understanding the learner's levels of development and the nature of the learning process. This understanding helps to define the list of objectives. Curriculum workers should use philosophy and psychology as screens, filtering out objectives that are beyond students' capacity to attain and those that run counter to the faculty's philosophy. This is according to Oliva 2009.
To all viewers, we have curriculum development process. Curriculum development process is a vital part of education because this will be the guidelines on developing the curriculum. As a future educator, we must be knowledgeable about the curriculum. Why? Because curriculum will be our guide in teaching. There are lots of things we must consider, such as philosophies, curriculum style, etc. But we have an idea about the importance or the relevance of the curriculum, but now we are going to study on how to develop the curriculum. What are the things we must consider on developing the curriculum? What is the first thing we need to do on developing curriculum? Let us hear the answer to the Unit 3 curriculum development, page 9. The first thing we need to do on developing the curriculum is curriculum planning. According to the Unit 3, Curriculum Development, page 9, the first thing we need to do on developing a curriculum is curriculum planning. The first process on developing the curriculum is curriculum planning. For example, what will be the result of an unplanned project like on developing a building or a structure? What will be the guidelines that will be obeyed by the workers on developing the structure or building? Definitely none. The building cannot be built because the workers has no idea of what they are going to build. Therefore, planning is the first process that needs to do on developing a curriculum or the curriculum planning. What are the things we must consider on curriculum planning? Let us hear the answer according to Bilbao on 2015. Here's what he said. All the important considerations are laid down in the plan. Most importantly, curriculum planning involves analysis of first, philosophy, social forces, needs, goals, and objectives, treatment of knowledge, human development, learning process and instructions, and decision. What are the things we must consider on curriculum planning? According to Bilbao, we must consider philosophy, social forces, needs, goals and objectives, treatment of knowledge, human development, learning process and instruction, and decision. Why do we need to study or why do we need to consider those things? First, we need to consider the philosophy or the philosophies that will be used on the curriculum that we are developing. This will be the basis or the main ingredient on developing a curriculum. Second is, we need to consider the social forces that will work for the subjects, duties, responsibilities, and other education matters in the curriculum that we are developing, such as the faculties of the education. The education have different subjects. Therefore, we need a lot of teachers for different roles or subjects to work on it. Then, the needs. Where or who are the sources of the support in the needs in education? Another is the goals and objectives. This is important because knowing our goals will be the basis of realizing our purpose, why we are developing a curriculum. Next is treatment of knowledge. Education provides knowledge for learners, but knowledge is evolving, or the facts that people are believing. According to early study about the shape of the earth, this is an example. According to the early study about the shape of the earth, that the earth is flat, or what they called the flattened earth. But in the present time, the earth is an irregularly shaped ellipsoid, while the earth appears to be round when viewed from the vantage point of space. It is actually closer to an ellipsoid. However, even an ellipsoid does not adequately describe the Earth's unique and ever-changing shape, according to NOAA or NOAA 2021. Therefore, in that example, it proves that there is a need for treatment of knowledge. We need to update the curriculum
in the present knowledge, learnings, or facts. Next is, we need to consider human development. It is because education must result to human development because knowledge and learnings are ingredients of development of improvement. We need to consider the learning process and instruction. It needs to answer how the education goes well. We need to consider that the curriculum that we are planning can adapt and will be benefited the learners. Lastly, we need to choose the best decision. Developing the curriculum is a risky process. An unthinkable curriculum will make the education a blind effort. What is the second step after the curriculum planning? What is the next step? What is the second step on the process of curriculum development? Let us hear the answer on the Unit 3 Curriculum Development, page 9. The second step on the process of curriculum development is curriculum design. What is curriculum design? According to Switzer on 2019, curriculum design is a term used to describe the purposeful, deliberate, and systematic organization of curriculum, or what we call instructional blocks, within a class or course. In other words, it is a way for teachers to plan instruction, or it is a way for teachers to plan instruction. When teachers design curriculum, they identify what will be done, who will do it, and what is scheduled to follow. So that is the curriculum design according to Switzer. But what is the purpose of curriculum design? According to the same author, teachers design each curriculum with a specific educational purpose in mind. The ultimate goal is to improve student learning, but there are other reasons to employ curriculum design as well. For example, designing a curriculum for middle school students with both elementary and high school curricula in mind helps to make sure that the learning goals are aligned and complement each other from one stage to the next. If a middle school curriculum is designed without taking prior knowledge from elementary school or future learning in high school into account, it can create real problems for students. So curriculum development has a great purpose in the education. But what are the types of curriculum design? According to the same author, there are three basic types of curriculum design. First, the subject-centered design. Second, the learner-centered design. And the last is the problem-centered design. But what is the role of curriculum design? According to Curriculum Development Unit 3, page 9, it is the arrangement of the curriculum components. How to organize the curriculum design? Curriculum is always organized in the following order. According to Ronald Dahl, as cited by Reyes and Dizon, curriculum is always organized in the following order. First, objectives. Second, content. Third, instruction and evaluation. Objectives are the key component of the curriculum design process, as they help teachers determine learning outcomes, what they should teach, and what students should learn, methods of instruction, and objective ways to measure student progress and performance, according to eNotes Editorial 2012. What is the role of content in the curriculum design? We are done in the objectives. We are now here on the content. According to Val 202, Curriculum content simply means the totality of what is to be taught in a school system. The content component of teaching learning situation refers to the important facts, principles, and concepts to be taught. So, what is the role of instruction? According to the Random 2016, the term instruction is derived from the Middle English word instruction, meaning to provide structure and direction. Last, what is the role of evaluation in the curriculum design? According to Green-Gill, K-12 2010, curriculum evaluation aims to examine the impacts of an implemented curriculum on a student learning achievements so that the official curriculum can be revised if necessary and to review teaching and learning process in the classroom. It is important to evaluate the curriculum that we obeyed. As an addition, proper alignment must be observed why or where among the four components of the curriculum why to ensure the success in the implementation phase or the next process that will be discussed by Ms. Alarcon. That is my part. Thank you for listening and continue listening to the next reporter.
Good day everyone, I'm Azel M. Alarcon from VTLED 2A, and now I'm going to discuss the two remaining steps in curriculum development process. Aside from curriculum planning and curriculum design, there are two other steps or process on developing the curriculum. The next step or process on curriculum development will help us to fully understand the curriculum development process. When we are done on curriculum planning and designing, what are the next steps we must do? What things we must do to take this into action? What is the next step on the curriculum development? Curriculum implementing according to Unit 3 Curriculum Development, page 9. What is meant by curriculum implementing? Curriculum implementation refers to how teachers deliver instruction and assessment through the use of specified resources provided in a curriculum. Therefore, curriculum implementing or implementation is also refers to the implementations of the developed curriculum to the education. This is important to implement what we plan and what we design on the curriculum that we are developing. Because if we do not implement it, then our effort on planning and designing the curriculum that we are doing it will become useless. What are the things we must consider on curriculum implementation? What are the requirements on curriculum implementation? Implementation requires educators to shift from the current program which they are familiar with to the new or modified program. With the new curriculum, revisions are present. Therefore, there is a need for shifting what? According to the reference we read a while ago, that requires the educators to shift from the current program, which they are familiar with, to the new or modified program. If there is a change on curriculum, there is also a change in attitudes of the people. For example, the changes in the knowledge about the shape of the earth. Before it is a fact that earth is flat, but at present time, the fact is that earth is almost round in its shape. Implementation can be seen as a process of professional development and growth involving ongoing interactions, feedback, and assistance. Implementing curriculum or new curriculum will and must provide new and updated information and facts at present time, because the process of developing curriculum will provide assistance for giving new information that must be adopted by the learners, and it will be the cause of improvement. Implementation is a process of clarifications whereby individuals and groups come to understand and practice a change in attitudes and behaviors, often evolving using new resources. By the use of new resources established online of paper works such as books, textbooks, etc., and also by the using the new facts that is being included in the updated curriculum. We can see that implementation of curriculum is success. We are seeking for change, but change for improvement. Implementation involves change, which requires effort and will produce a certain amount of anxiety. And to maximize this, it is useful to organize implementation into manageable events and to set achievable goals. Implementation or curriculum needs a lot of time for thinking. Also, because of new knowledge, there is also the hard time for studying, but it can be manageable because of the smart thinking of people, according to Ornstein and Hankins. What are the last steps on curriculum development? The curriculum evaluation. According to Unit 3 Curriculum Development, page 10. What do you mean by that? Regular evaluation of the total curriculum is necessary to ensure that the written and delivered curriculum is having the desired effect for students. In this section or phase, this will answer the question if the curriculum is success, all the skills, knowledge, and learnings are learned, adapted, and acquired by the learners. Curriculum evaluations refers to an ongoing process of collecting, analyzing, synthesizing, and interpreting information to aid in understanding what the student know and can do. It refers to the full range of information gathered in the school district to evaluate, make judgments about student learning, and program effectiveness in each content area. How and when can we evaluate the curriculum? Curriculum evaluation must be based on information gathered from a comprehensive assessment system that is designed for accountability and committed to the concept that all students will achieve at high levels, is standards-based, and informs decision, which impact significant and sustainable improvements in teaching and student learning. We learn that curriculum development starts at planning, then designing, after that the implementation, and we need to have evaluation of the curriculum developed and have been implemented. That is my part and also the end of our discussion. Our group is hoping that we all had understand the Unit 3 curriculum development. Thank you for having with us until the end of this video discussion. Stay safe and God bless us all.